besties. So today's video is going to be quite different from my usual videos, but this is something that's been weighing on my mind for so long. So as you may have seen from the title of the video, we will be talking about how people are getting so skinny right now. This is a very scary thing actually, and I think this is really important conversation to have. So I had issues myself with eating, and I had an ED, and I've struggled with that since I was probably like 14, and I feel like every single day when I go on TikTok or Instagram, I see yet another person suddenly getting so skinny, and then you go in the comments, all you can see is, oh my god, such a glow up, you look amazing, drop your routine, do what I eat in a day video. I'm a grown woman. I had therapy for that, and I felt like I overcame it. You know, the last few years have been probably the best at it as I've been in years, and even I'm getting triggered, and even I get those thoughts again, being like, maybe skip this meal, maybe, you know, you look better if you're gonna be skinnier. And I feel like if I'm getting that, like, I can only imagine what it's like on like teenage girls, for example, and that's why I want to talk about it. If at least one person can go away after watching this video and realize that maybe sometimes we don't have healthy thoughts when we see those things online, and like I helped one person to be more mindful of that, that's something huge, you know. And if I can help people, then I'll talk about it. So as much as it's being romanticized and history is repeating itself, like we've seen that happen, well, we know it happened in 90s, then that was very trendy. I just wanted to talk about the negative side effects of being that skinny. Some people are naturally skinny, that's their natural body weight, and that's okay. But that's not the case for everyone. A lot of these influencers and celebrities that you see getting so skinny, a lot of them have EDs. And as someone who had it, you can just tell, when you look at a person, you can just tell that they are struggling with that's what they have, even though they might be denying it and dropping their workout routine and saying how they have a balanced lifestyle and, you know, all of that. But that's not the case. Like, you can just tell. If you struggle with that, you can tell when someone else is going through it. So I want to share a little bit of my story. So for me, I was always like a bit bigger, and I guess I always heard comments from people. So being skinny was the ultimate goal for me. That was everything I ever wanted. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was 14 thinking that, like, it's sad, you know? In 2020, that was when it especially got dark and especially got bad, and I was within the span of like 2 months, I experienced some really sad and traumatic events happen to me. It was one thing after another, and I felt like I had no control over my life, over the things that were happening to me, and food became the only thing that I could control. It started from stress. I started skipping a meal, then skipping another meal, and with all that and stress, I lost weight very quickly, and all of a sudden I started getting so many compliments from people, and it was all about like, you glowed up, you look amazing, oh my god, you look so good, you know. And all of a sudden I started getting a lot more attention from guys, a lot more than I was used to getting, and it felt validating, not gonna lie. Like, I was like, wow, I'm finally like skinny, and I'm finally like, people are, you know, rewarding that with compliments, attention, and, you know, all of that. Suddenly started putting all of my like validation and everything into being skinny. It was all about, wow, I finally achieved something. People finally love me, people finally see me, and yeah, that was slowly, it just got worse and worse, and people suddenly, the same people who were giving me compliments, all of a sudden it was about, are you anorexic? Are you okay? Like, it seems like you don't look okay anymore. My brain was ill, and it still is. Like, there's just some things that I can't view the same as a healthy person can. Every time someone would say that, I'd be like, no, what do you mean? But in my head, that was a huge compliment for me, you know? It suddenly went from people making comments about me being bigger to being like, are you okay? And I was like, oh my god, I achieved something. And that was very validating. And as I said, my brain wasn't healthy and it still isn't. And I took all of that as compliments. And I know these people who are getting those comments now on the videos and all that, they most likely think the same. You're just feeding into that. Eventually, I reached the sort of breaking point, I guess. There was just this wake-up moment, wake-up call, and I realized that I needed help. And I sought for help. And I was working with specialists for a long time, and it was very, very, very difficult journey. It was so hard. I worked so hard to get better, to get healthier, and to understand my brain, and to understand that there are things that I can't do that maybe my friends can and another healthy person can. And now it feels like I'm being triggered again. Like, you see it all the time, and after all this work that I put in, I'm getting triggered, and I'm getting some of those unhealthy thoughts again, and I'm trying every day so hard not to think about that and to understand that there's more to life, than that. And I needed a reminder of at what cost being skinny came to me, and I feel like if I share this with others, I can help someone. Being skinny, and I mean unhealthily skinny, and something that's not your body's normal weight, I guess, and that comes with a cost. Those people that you might be idolizing, you don't see them really like talking about it. You lose everything about you with that. At first it's great, until you start getting all those side effects and your body is slowly giving up on you, because your body can't do its normal functions because you're not getting enough nutrients. And this is very important, It starts with like your hair breaking, not growing anymore, you're losing so much hair, your nails are fragile, your skin is breaking out, and you get such a bad brain fog, and you can't focus on anything other than thinking about food. Just because I had no energy for anything else. I stopped socializing because you start realizing how every time you hang out with someone, you go to get food, and all of a sudden that's a very difficult thing, and you start feeling guilty about eating something too much, and that people make comments about, oh, you don't eat enough, and people start noticing, and it just becomes so difficult and so tiring. And yeah, you start socializing, you start pushing people away, and some people stay, some people understand that you're not okay and that you need help, and they stay through that, but you just become very irritable because you're always hungry, like you lose your personality, you lose your spark, and you just become just like zombie. Honestly, like all I could think about was food, and I was irritated all the time. I wasn't nice, I remember there was at one point I realized that like I haven't genuinely laughed in like 6 months or something like that, because nothing is funny. Like, you just have no emotions, like you don't have energy for anything. You start forgetting things, your memory messes up, you suddenly start fainting. And for me, the wake-up call was when I fainted without even realizing. There was like no signs that you're about to faint. How, like, because I was used to them at that point, and I just fainted just like this in front of a stranger, and that was very scary. And ambulance was called, and this man who was in the ambulance, he was asking me all these questions, and then he realized that I was lying about eating and everything, and he was like, you're so young, and if you continue this way, by the time you're 30, you'll be gone, because your body will give up on you. And it's a form of hurting yourself, and you are slowly, it's not fun. It's not fun, and recovery is so difficult because it does get worse before it gets better. And there's a whole refeeding plan and everything, and when you start eating again, you get so hungry, you eat so much more than you normally would, like even before you got ill, like you eat so much more. And then again, that's uncomfortable because sometimes people make comments being like, whoa, but I just like, your body's asking for these nutrients, and some things just are never the same anymore. Even after you've recovered, you develop food intolerances and allergies. Trust me, you don't want to go through that. So please don't follow those TikTok trends, don't follow those diets, don't count your calories. Like, I know some people can count it in a healthy way, I know I can't, and I can't look at exercise and gym in a healthy way, because it was one obsession was changed into another obsession. So me being obsessed over food suddenly changed into me being obsessed with exercise, because I was eating more, so I had to work everything out, and like I had to burn those calories, and it was still like, yeah. And I think even now my relationship with exercise is just so difficult still, and every time you gain like even like a little bit of weight, it's still difficult. And for example, I've been on antidepressants since February, and I don't know if it's like one of the side effects, but like I gained a bit of weight, and I really struggle with that still, and I consider myself recovered, I guess, and I really burnt out with the gym and all of that, and but I need movement for my mental health, because obviously there's so many benefits from it, and I'm still trying to find a way to find exercises that I enjoy. And yeah, it's a long journey, and I don't think that extreme skinniness should be glamorized unless it's your natural weight. If you lose your period at your ideal weight, that's not your ideal weight. Your body can't function properly, because that's one of the things that happened. I lost my period. It took a while for it to come back, and that's a lot, and it's difficult. And I just hope this video makes at least one person think about it, and I guess be a bit more mindful of the things we see on the internet, and press the block button. You don't need to see that. And I needed this reminder myself, and I'm here to talk if anyone needs to, and please seek help if you need to. And yeah, I feel like this is very all over the place video, but I feel like we needed to talk about it, and yeah, thank you for watching. I love you, stay strong, and don't give in, please.